I think everybody gets really excited about tools,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody says, look at this great
Yeah.
thing that was
New
created
shiny
with
object. No.
AI, and I get it. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like, huh, I think I have a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
What if we took all of that data, loaded it into an online agent,
Yeah.
and then encouraged our salespeople to use that instead of being the first pass to go to one of our engineers in-house? We're going to be continuously validating that data with feedback back to the AI agent.
I love it. I love it.
Making sure that what you're doing with AI and with technology is still aligning with your business objectives and not just adding another tool to your toolbox just because of it.
Just because of it. It's trending. No.
I think a lot of us were probably just wasting a lot of time playing, right?
Or you ask like 5 times. That's not what I wanted, right?
Exactly.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
Even though you said maybe it's not making us more efficient, I think it does in certain aspect.
Yeah.
But it's like the tool that helps you accelerate faster, right? To say, oh, this is where I can either find more information, or this is where, this is the category, right, of the product, or this is where I should look. So it just accelerate that beginning. And then you still have to have your critical thinking, right? And then you can support or help and find out, what's the best answer or solution.
Have to understand what questions can be answered by the agent based on the data that's loaded into it.
What if you could learn real leadership strategies from the people actually shaping the future of electronics, supply chain, and manufacturing? Welcome to Leadership Manufacturing Podcast. We are shaping the next generation of industry leaders. Each episode delivers excellent insight and people-first strategies from executives, innovators, and change makers who know what it takes to adapt, motivate, and lead forward. According to McKinsey, companies that invest in leadership and skill development are 1.5 times more likely to maintain high performance. And that's the power of leadership done right. And it's what this show is all about. I'm your host, Sanna Vinding. I'm an engineer and a strategic leader with over 20 years of experience in B2B marketing, product development, and helping people grow into confident, capable leaders. You will hear practical lessons, honest conversation, and real-world tools that today's leaders are using to communicate better, build stronger teams, and drive sustainable growth. So follow the show, subscribe, join me on YouTube or at our website. Just search for Leadership in Manufacturing. And remember, there's no fluff here. This is insight and inspiration you need to grow and lead so you can make an impact. Now, let's jump into today's episode. AI is quickly becoming a part of daily work in manufacturing, but the real challenge isn't the technology. It's implementing AI without losing trust or overwhelming teams. Today's guest is Ellen Albright. She's Marketing Communication Director at ETA Engineering Technology. And with more than 20 years of experience working across marketing, engineering, and sales, Ellen is helping lead a practical, people-first approach to AI adoption. In this conversation, we explore how AI is actually being implemented inside electronics manufacturing and what leaders need to get right. Thanks for tuning in to Leadership Manufacturing Podcast today. I'm really happy that you're here and listening because the podcast is just growing. And today I want to welcome Ellen Albright. She's the Marketing and Communication Director at ETA Engineering Technology. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy because we've been connecting over the last couple of years. And now I'm like, I really have you on here. So I'm actually so excited because I want to share all your knowledge and what you're working on. But I want to go in first and ask you about, what's your passion for the industry?
Oh, that's interesting. So I joined the industry a year out of college, and I honestly had absolutely no experience in the electronics industry, and I don't know anything different than that. So I guess my passion within it is truly, obviously, the marketing and communication side, but I also really love getting out and working with the distribution partners and networking and learning from everybody that I can, get my hands on at either be a conference or, a social event or something like that. And just building my network, learning, growing, And I'm always wanting to feed my brain with new information.
Yeah. Yeah. And this industry is moving, right? It's moving
Yeah.
faster and faster. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think I mentioned this before, but it's always like we're looking into the future, right? With
Mhm.
some of the components or within the industry or the technology that nobody else knows at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So we also have some good insights there.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about ETA. I want to ask you about if you can describe, the leadership and what makes it different, because you have different offices, right? Different headquarters. It's in Germany, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
you could go and tell a little bit more about, what's the leadership styles and what makes it different.
Sure. So, one of really the pillars of our leadership is that we want to see everybody eye to eye. That's our board of directors and our owners. We're a family owned company. They want everybody to feel like they're contributing to the organization, that they have a voice within the organization.
Yeah.
There's no hierarchy. I shouldn't say that. There is hierarchy when necessary,
Yeah.
right? So when you need something fast or you need somebody to make a decision because the whole group can't come to one, that's where we utilize hierarchy within our organization. But we really are focused on what they call circles and networks.
Mhm.
And that's really cross-functional communication and coordination. No matter what your level is, you're working on a project, and you're empowered to make decisions, and take ownership of what you're doing. So we aren't really told what to do a lot. We're really the ones who are making those decisions and empowered to, take the business in the direction that we want.
I love that. It's really more like a flat organization, right? And then everybody has a seat at that table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing here. I
Yeah.
really like that because it makes you as well, right? As an employee, it makes you feel, I don't know if the word is special, but it
Mhm.
makes you feel that you're part of it, right? And not just sitting there and somebody's like micromanaging you.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we're all adults, right?
Yeah.
So the rules and things that we have to follow, but they definitely they're very passionate about the people that they bring into the organization and empowering them to be, the subject matter expert
Yeah.
within whatever functional area.
Yeah.
And they take our lead versus telling us what to do.
Got to know. Yeah. So
Mhm.
what do you think fostering then to be, to actually enjoying and thriving in this environment, because it's like process, there's culture, there's trust in it, right?
Yeah.
So is it all three of them, or how do you see it?
I would say it's probably all three, but I think first comes culture, right? And they and the organization truly wants people to test new things, new ideas, and then you have the safety to do that, right? So sometimes people are afraid to bring an idea to the table because they're not sure it's going to work. We within our organization, we call it a test balloon. That's
Ooh.
just kind of the phrase that we use,
Yeah.
and say, okay, we wouldn't just test something. It's going to be a 6-month test. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see how it goes. And if it's 6 months, we want to put a pin in it. It's okay,
Yeah.
right? No matter if we put resources into it or not, right?
Yeah.
So it's a safe space within the organization to bring new ideas to the table, without being punished if you sink resources into something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
you have
so
to
how
be
many
brave
how many
enough
of
to.
these balloon projects do you have then?
Right now, I'm running. Probably my main one is my AI project.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it really just, you have to be brave enough to say, okay, I thought it would be a great idea, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right. So, as an employee, you have the safety and the space to do that, but you also have to have the guts to say it too, is
Yeah.
all right. I thought this was going to be the next thing and I was wrong.
Yeah.
Let's move
Yeah,
on to the
right.
next
Move
thing.
on to the next one. But I think that's always back to the trust aspect, right?
Mhm.
Being able to say that,
Mhm.
it also gives somebody else, even if they're working on a new project, right, to trust and say, oh, right, look at this team over here, right? They thought
Mhm.
this was where they're going and it failed, right? Or failed fast
Mhm.
as well, if you can do that.
Yeah.
Or if it can also be a success. So I think it's really important that you see the authentic in every person, right? Or how they're leading and how they're communicating as well.
Mhm. Yep, because it just demonstrates the openness, I think, that other people are willing to bring something
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah.
right? It's all
So,
happening.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it is. So I want to
Yeah.
hear more about the AI project, if you can open up a little bit about that, because I think that's
Yeah.
also how ETA has evolved into like the technology as well, right? Because you're
Sure.
starting using these tools.
Yep.
So tell us more about it.
So we actually have two things running right now. We have the first one, I guess we can talk about is we are utilizing a company that's helping us build an AI agent. And that's basically an online person chat bot
Yeah,
where we are loading in all of our technical data. And then it is going to be a support tool for our engineering staff, for our salespeople to use as kind of their first place
yeah,
to go to answer questions about our products.
yeah,
I was talking with my director of engineering, and he, expressed, oh gosh, we lost our applications engineer, and my engineers definitely know circuit breakers, but they're also working on electrical design and mechanical design. When
yeah,
they get a circuit breaker question, it stops them in their tracks sometimes,
yeah,
and they have to go to a data sheet.
yeah,
And I looked at him and I was like, huh, I think I have a really interesting idea.
yeah,
What if we took all of that data, loaded it into an online agent,
yeah,
and then encouraged our salespeople to use that instead of being the first pass to go to one of our engineers in house?
yeah,
So we're working with a company. It's called Celestic, and it's been a really great experience. We started last February. We've grown our user base to now 10 people.
yeah,
Uh, because we're really wanting to make sure that the data is validated within
yeah,
the system before
definitely.
we open it up to everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
um,
not, it's just an internal system, right? That you
yeah.
set up. Yeah,
Correct. So it's internal, password protected.
yeah,
When we go live, we have a sales portal for our sales channel where they can log in and see pricing and all of that information.
yeah,
The AI agent will be also available on the sales portal for our
yeah,
reps and our distributors in a timeline, right? So first for ETA folks, then our reps, and then our distributors.
yeah,
And at each point, the tool will be getting smarter and smarter because we're going to be continuously validating that data with feedback
yeah.
back to the AI agent.
I love it. I love it. So what's been the first kind of feedback you're getting from the group of 10?
So far, it's understanding how to use the tool and what questions to ask.
Yeah,
So I think the feedback is, well, it's not answering the question correctly. And
yeah,
I said, I totally understand.
yeah,
First of all, the data has been validated, but not to a point where we can say, all right, we're at 95% confidence level, right?
yeah,
Um, but also it comes with training, and they have to understand what questions can be answered by the agent based on the data that's loaded
yeah,
into it,
yeah,
right? So if they're going to ask an obscure question that isn't in any documentation,
yeah. It's not there, right?
not going to do it, right?
It's like,
So I think that's what it is what I've learned is we need to train our people to
yeah,
make sure that they understand when to and when not to use it.
yeah,
Because the tool is never going to be 100% correct.
no,
So at some point, we have to open it up, and people have to be accepting of the fact that they need to be a human and validate the data.
yeah.
And they can't just take the information blindly as truth, right? Like with
Uh,
anything.
yeah,
So,
and I think that's a really big key learning, right, from everything, because the AI is all over, right? Every day you open something up, somebody either there's like a new software or there's a SaaS product or
it's really overwhelming.
something, right? It's overwhelming, and then like somebody's sitting like, oh, where do I fit in? But we fit in because we have to look at it, we have to review. You have to be that human to say, does it make sense, right?
Mhm. Exactly.
It doesn't just create everything at once, right? It's not like a calculator where you're like, why can it just show me, the numbers if it doesn't have the information, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
And then the second part of our, I guess, AI transformation would be that we started an AI task force.
Yeah?
And that was really to try to educate us and set some standards in place on how we can implement AI technology within our organization. I think everybody gets really excited about tools.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody says, look at this great
Yeah.
thing that was
Shiny object.
AI, and I get it. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
But I think as an organization, we started off with everybody, testing and playing and utilizing AI without understanding guidelines of what is and is not okay to use AI for in terms of what data you load into AI. So some governance, and then while AI is supposed to help with efficiency, I think a lot of us were probably just wasting a lot of time playing, right?
Or you asked like 5 times. That's not what I wanted, right?
Exactly.
This is what I want.
Yeah. So the task force is really charged with, helping us with some governance about what the do's and don'ts of what to do with AI, providing us with some guidance on training opportunities and education. Getting a baseline of what our comfort level is with AI within our organization to begin with. And then we really want to start 2026 with 3 to 5 projects that can be amplified by AI technology.
Yeah, I like that. And it's also with the whole AI, right? I think look at it as that, even though you said maybe it's not making us more efficient, I think it does in certain aspect. But it's like the tool that helps you accelerate faster, right? To say, oh, this is where I can either find more information, or this is where, this is the category, right, of the product, or this is where I should look. So just accelerate that beginning. And then you still have to have your critical thinking, right? And then you can support or help and find out, what's the best answer or solution.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think it definitely helps with efficiency. I just think initially everybody was just in there creating their avatars in those Barbie boxes and all of the things just to see all of the incredible things that generative AI could do, right? I mean, I think it was just, everybody was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I think that there was just a lot of time in that initial discovery phase.
Yeah. I think it was back when we're into AI, right, with 3 years, right? When it was like really launched. Yeah. And I think I saw the first one was like, oh, you can just make your PowerPoint. I'm like, great. But that's not, it needs to have much more meat in it, in that picture and just one word, right? Yeah. So there's still a journey to get there, but of course it can help you make it really, really nice to look, and illustration and the colors. There's so many things there, but a lot have happened over the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So back to the task force, we're kind of in a discovery, I guess you could say, phase. So we're actually using a partner that we met when I was at the We United conference out in California in October. And she and I were actually sitting at the same table at dinner, and we started talking, and she was like, I think I can really help you, because where I was struggling the most with my task force was I had given them, I had empowered them to be the people, right? Yeah. This is what we want you to do. This is the timeline. And it just, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay, it's not that they're not good workers, because they are. I just don't think that they knew where to even start. Yeah. And they were also both individual contributors within the organization. So I felt that this would be a really great way for them to rise themselves up in the organization and get experience with other people. And I think that it was intimidating.
Oh.
So when I talked with Nicole, she was like, I can totally help you. So we put together a scope, and she's basically walking us through the discovery and how we needed to pull information from our organization to start building out those 3 to 5 projects.
Nice.
And it's not technology forward, right? So we interviewed 27 people within the organization, leadership to individual contributors, and we asked them questions about their jobs. Yeah. What are your bottlenecks? What do you hate doing every day? What do you do repeatedly? What do you have to do twice? all of those types of questions, because those are the low-hanging fruit on how AI can help gain efficiencies.
Yeah.
So, and now, so we're completed that. So we completed that last week, and then this week we met with Nicole, and she basically provided us with an AI prompt to put into ChatGPT to then summarize and standardize all of the interviews into information that an AI LLM can understand.
Yeah.
So, it's taking the analog data of what we put in from our interviews with people, and now it's starting to cluster, prioritize based off of severity and based off of repeatability of the topic within the interviews.
Yeah.
So it's a really neat process that we're going through. And I'm not really sure what's going to bubble to the top.
I'm pausing the show because I want to make sure that you follow the show or subscribe, or you've joined me on YouTube, or maybe just check out the website. So search for Leadership in Manufacturing. This is no fluff. This is inside inspiration that you need to grow, lead, and make an impact as a leader. So see you online. Back to the show. No, but it's a process, right? And it's one step at a time. And you using, AI to help you organize it, I think it's amazing because it will see it. And then you still have to look at it, right? And saying, does it make sense, right? Or go back and saying, no, let's look at it in a different angle and let's group it this way instead, right? So I think it helps you again, right? Boost you, get ahead, right? To say, okay, what do we do now? Because otherwise, if you were sitting there and just had all the Post-its, maybe you got stuck in it, right? Or you were like, okay, how do we meet everybody and get it? But now you can actually move so much faster and then have a meeting to say, okay, this is how it looks. How do we take it from here?
Right. So once we summarized all the data, we put it all onto a table. We, as the interviewers, then had to go in and validate and say, yep, that's what they said. Yep, that tab makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there was a severity score that AI provided.
Yeah.
And there was a column for us to manually do it as well as what we think the severity is. And then the average is the final severity score of it. So there was human interaction.
But it's good. And I think it's really great to hear how you're using it, right? And actually moving everything forward. Has there been any big surprises starting using or working with AI, like good or bad?
I think for me, it's all about what you ask and how you ask it. It's just like your parents, right? It just depends on how you ask it if they're going to say yes or no, right? I think that prompts are very important. And I think that is something that I've learned, and I have not fine-tuned. I'm not a prompting expert.
No.
But when Nicole provided us with prompts and how detailed they were and how explicit it was of what was necessary, I was like, oh, wow, okay. This is interesting, because you spend the time to create a very specific prompt. It takes less time than engaging with the AI tool with clarifying questions, right? I get a lot of, did you mean this? Instead of me providing all of that information.
Yeah, I use it a lot where I say, okay, I want, this is what I want, right? This is what I want it to look like. Ask me question one at a time if you need more information. So before, right? So then you can feed it and it can say, okay, I need this, right? Or, what's that? It just helps. And in my brain, it's just better instead of it saying, I need all these 10 questions answered. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I know.
But I always love to put like a comparison, right? Because it's like, I'm a parent, you're a parent, right? Yeah. And I don't think any parent is the same. And there's so many books on how to become the best parent in the world. And then you have your parents and you have, other friends are parents, but you find out, right, the way to be the best parent you can be. And I think with all the AI prompt, there's so many information out there, but you have to just go, try, learn, and observe, and then you become the best, if you want to call it engineering prompt, right? When you start using it.
I also did appreciate, so I have the paid version of ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and being able to go into my preferences and select my tone and put in those rules about what not to use
Yeah.
was really helpful, because I was putting those into all of my, when I didn't like an output,
Yeah.
I was like, no, I want it to be more like this.
Yeah.
So being able to, in that paid version, to be able to go in and adjust and edit your preferences for everything has been helpful for me as well.
Yeah. No, it's good. So how do you see like going forward, even though you're saying you have a few projects for next year, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think the impact will be by using AI and implementing AI and having it as a tool, right? For the reps, for the sales and distribution.
Yeah.
But, how do you think it will go to work over the next couple of years for ETA?
I think for us, it really is, how can we help increase the customer experience and gain efficiencies, right? So it's not only about efficiency. We also want to make sure that it's there supporting to make sure that our customer experience at the end of the day is the best that it can be. So how can we implement it within inside sales in order to make, their interactions with customers better? Or, so those are the two areas within AI that we're really focusing on, is making sure that the projects that we select are there to either increase customer experience
Yeah.
or add a better experience or increase efficiency.
Yeah. Like that.
In all
Yeah.
departments within the
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah, you have to be sure, right, that you go in all the teams and all the levels and everything
Yeah.
else. So
Yeah.
somebody else, like another manufacturer, right? If they want to start using AI, what kind of recommendation or advice would you give them?
I think my recommendation would be to don't wait any longer. If you haven't started dipping your toe into AI, I think you need to start. And I think you can get bogged down in the tools, because there's thousands, if not
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of different tools that you can use that have AI, capabilities. So maybe pick one or two,
Yeah.
something that you're trying to use, and really start experimenting with it. But I think also what's important is looking at the organization and getting an understanding of how you can implement it enterprise wide,
Yeah.
right? And not leading with technology and tools, because that can scare people, right?
Yeah.
People are afraid that it's going to take away their jobs. People are afraid, of adopting a new software if they're not necessarily, computer native. So start with trying to get an understanding of, what bottlenecks, what, pain in the neck kind of things people are doing within their roles, and then layering AI and technology on top of that to help solve their problems, I think is an approach that could be a little bit easier to implement
Yeah.
within an organization, because it's change management at the end of it, right?
Yeah,
It's
it is,
not just
right?
another
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
It's a total change of how work is done,
Yeah.
from start to finish.
Yeah. I like, and that has been there for a couple of years, right? The whole summary, if you have a meeting and it's right, that it can
Yeah.
just summarize instead of you're sitting there like typing like crazy, right?
Right.
And then you're like, oh my God, I was
Yeah.
actually not part of the conversation because I was just sitting making all these notes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that is just amazing that you can have that, right? Again, it just relaxes and you can concentrate much more. And that's an easy one. And we had it for years. So it's not like it's like brand new,
Right.
but just to make it a habit. I think with the whole change management, right? A lot of it is how we have to lean in and how we to accept and saying, yeah, this is how we're going to do it from now on.
Yeah, definitely. And just, I think, encouraging people to learn,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that you have to get past the resistance of
Yeah.
technology, and just, there's tons of resources online, LinkedIn Learning, there's the Marketing AI Institute, all really great free resources that can start to, educate people on what the technology can do for the business, which I just think is important for people to understand.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. What about if you look at your leadership style over the last couple of years and now with AI, how have your leadership style changed?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think for me, it's this has been it was a little bit of a challenge, I think, for me with leading the AI task force, right? So I was trying to find ways to move the group along, and that it wasn't working with me on my own. So obviously asking for help, identifying a partner who
Yeah.
has more experience in technology and change management was super helpful for me.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to push something into an organization, from top down and into everybody within the organization, it
Yeah.
might take more than just one person.
Yeah, no, it does, right? You
You
can just
know,
have it. Otherwise, it's just like that one person band, right? It's just there,
exactly.
right? You
Yeah,
need to have more saying, yes, this is what we're doing,
right.
and then like lead the way together, right?
Yeah. And I think too, making sure that when you're implementing AI and leading a group that's trying to use AI technology, that it is aligning with your business objectives,
Yeah,
right? We're not, you don't want to just spend your day using it just because, like, we have some very defined goals, so double sales is one of them. And another one is to boost efficiency and then increase the sale of new products. Those are
yeah,
our three things that we are like charging forward with. And every initiative that we do, we ask the question, is that going to do one of those three things?
yeah,
So, especially with AI, yes, obviously, that should help with all three. But I think that making sure that what you're doing with AI and with technology is still aligning with your business objectives and not just adding another tool to your toolbox just
yeah.
because
Just because of it, it's trending. No.
exactly.
Yeah. So how you already touched a little bit on it, but I want to know more about, how do you learn? Because you're saying there's so many tools, right? There was LinkedIn Learning,
Yeah.
I love YouTube, right? But
Yeah.
how do you learn?
I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of webinars, even if I just have it going on in the background.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Paul Razor, he started the Marketing AI Institute and he is great.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of online trainings, just like AI 101. That you can just listen. He also has a podcast. I don't know off the top of my head what it's called, but it's just really interesting because he touches on everything that's changing
Yeah.
within the AI technology as you go. So that I am more of a consumer of, I guess, other people's educational content.
Yeah.
And I play around as much as I can with the tools, but I also don't have a whole lot of time to do that. And
No, time is the
I would
critical,
like
right?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
So,
balance everything. Yeah.
exactly. So for now, I'm hungry for information on new technology and how to use it.
Yeah.
Like I said, LinkedIn Learning and the Marketing AI Institute, they're both great. And obviously the ERA has some really great content as well
Yeah.
for AI
Nice.
tools.
That's good. I want to go a little bit back on you as a leader as well, because it's always, you can have a mentor, right? That could be like a two-way street, but you have maybe, even though you've been in the same organization for many years. But I want to know, what kind of like the best piece of advice you ever had, you still remember. I think that's always, it's like moments in your life, right? And this is like moments in your career. So is there anything that's like sticks out? You're saying, yeah, this advice, when that somebody said this to me, it really stood out.
I think it was that. So I started as a marketing assistant, right, 22 years ago at ETA. And I had to learn and build my confidence to speak up.
Yeah.
Because, I have for many years have been an individual contributor, but on the leadership team. And I often had a little bit of like imposter syndrome because I was like, well, I'm not leading anybody. And somebody said, no, leadership is not just leading people. It's just the way that you work and how you present yourself within an organization. And there's a difference between leadership and management.
Yeah.
Right. So that was eye-opening for me because I was like, well, sure, I'm on the leadership team, but I'm just myself.
Yeah.
So for me, it was that delineation of leadership versus management, and
Yeah.
that I had to understand that I was in leadership even though I wasn't managing people.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's so, people get confused about it, right?
Yeah.
But I think what you just said, it's just so clear because it's how you set up, it's how you work with different teams as well.
Right.
Even though they're not reporting to you, right? It's how you're leading a project or how you communicate. It's how you show up.
Yeah.
So that was a really good advice.
Mhm.
You have to make sure that
It was more just to give, like, to boost, that person was trying to boost my confidence because I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a team. And they're like, that doesn't matter.
yeah. I also think just keep asking questions, even though if you've been in an organization for many years, don't just sit back and don't have questions. You need to have questions, right? Because again, everything is evolving, and you need to make sure. And there will always be somebody on the team that are afraid to ask questions. So when somebody else is asking, it's a lot like, oh my God, thank God, right? Somebody actually did ask, right? Because
Right, exactly.
that meant, right? Yeah.
I do that a lot. I'm like, I know I should know this, but I don't. Please help me.
Yeah.
I think just having that safety to be like, I know I should know this, like,
Yeah.
and I think that also just humanizes people as well. If you're willing to say,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to the whole company culture, right? I think to show that, and then the trust that you can actually be vulnerable, right? Saying there and saying, "Hey, I don't know what that is," or maybe you say it in a different way, so you you
Exactly.
feel like still like you're clever. No, what about? I want to ask one more thing here because there's so many new talent, right? Within the industry right now. I love it. I see younger people. It's like new generations. It's just exploding.
I know.
But again, right, we are the older ones. We need to give some advice. So if you want to talk to somebody, right, if you had to sit down tomorrow, what advice would you give, especially within the electronics industry?
I think it's that that's a hard question.
Yeah.
I think it is a challenge for our industry in general to bring in that new talent, and it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
I think that I would probably tell them to find a core group of people within the industry that you can network with, that can be your sparring partner, and find yourself a mentor.
Yeah.
I think that our industry in general can be a little overwhelming because we are so close, right? We're small.
Yeah.
We all go to the same events. We all talk to the same people. We all know the same people. So if you think new people coming into the organization or into the industry, that can be intimidating. So I think it's, seeking out and building your network, whether that be within your own organization or socially, is really important, just to find your space. And then I think you'll have these colleagues and friends for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I agree. It's good. And the whole networking, I think it's just blooming over the last year, right? With events. So it's so great to see what is popping up, even if it's just small meetups as well. So there's so many options right now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, Ellen, last question.
Yeah.
So if you should look back in time, right, and should give yourself an advice, but if you're looking back like 10 or 15 years and you cannot take the one, you should speak up. You have to find something.
Yeah,
no, no. What kind of advice would you give yourself? Another tough question.
It is really hard. I think it would be to keep your chin up. And it's sometimes everything is not as easy as you think it should be. And I think something else that I've learned is just my personality in general. I often get feedback that I'm not as approachable as I could be. And for me, it was a learning experience, and something that I'm still trying to do is tailoring the way that I act or am available to people based on who they are. Right. So, and I often was like, well, this is just who I am. You just have to kind of deal with it. I'm very direct, and this is just who I am.
Yeah.
I've learned, and it would have been beneficial to me 15 years ago to say, sure, that's true, but sometimes you have to change that in order to engage or work directly with somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So something I'm still learning.
That. No, no, I like it. I like it. It's really, and it's also a reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think it's like if you have the change management, if you want to say that word, right? Maybe we need to have a different word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough, right? Because if you're saying this is your DNA or this is your personality, and then suddenly you're saying, but then that's not me, but you have to find like a middle ground. It's not like you're saying I can't be that person. It's just I find a more softer way. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to say. I joke that sometimes maybe I should just like put moose ears up and be like, mine is my cross my arms.
Yeah.
That's like a natural thing. And people find that to be off-putting. And I'm like, okay, then I'll just talk to people like this.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, so thank you so much, Ellen. This was great. I think just the whole journey from AI, what you're learning, how you're learning, and also like, what to look out for AI, right? And I think it's not taking our job, it's making us more efficient in certain ways. And let's have that critical thinking, right?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks again for listening to this episode. I appreciate so much that you're here to the end. And I want to share because we're doing awesome on YouTube. We have over 200,000 views. So I want to make sure that you're following us on YouTube. So just look up Leadership in Manufacturing and make sure to subscribe. Another one, I also want you to sign up for the newsletter because I want you to stay in the loop when we have a new episode or when we actually have a good leadership tip that we want to share. So make sure to search for leadershipmanufacturing.com, sign up today, just look for the newsletter. And thank you so much for listening to the full episode. And one more, right? Remember, stay curious, keep learning. See you next time.